Everyone, hi. Bruce Mufson, LCSW, coming at you with another song breakdown from SUNRIDGE, Nevada. As always, I'm going to break down the parts that I think are relevant clinically and that I think have the most oomph. As always, before we get started, I want to discuss again our ability to provide top quality mental health information. You can join us for $75 a month. You could hear me at least for an hour and change a week. And we are pushing that to give people a chance to really get things off their chest and really share things with us. Okay, here we go. Continuing the trilogy of the songs, were just all the songs that he's done from this album, Balloonerism. This is called Friendly Hallucinations. The thing about Mac Miller, which is unparalleled in what he can do, is he's great at evoking how he wants you to kind of get sucked into the song, setting a tempo to get into the mood that he wants you to be in. So here we go from verse 1. In the ocean, get to swim in or drown. How long has it been since you smiled? And you see this with all of his songs, particularly in the next 4 songs, over and over again, the same theme, talking about death. And how long has it been since you smiled? And to me, he's talking about himself. Mac, how long has it been since you had a chance to finally enjoy something? Going forward, still on verse 1, it goes like this. Still wide awake, I'm a stranger to the daytime. All right, once again, can't sleep, up all night, drug usage. What does that tell me? The vampire hours. And shocking, the next line is vampire, higher than a hang glider. Look around and all I see is gray skies. Vampire, those vampire hours of staying up all night and then trying to get some sleep during the day. And all I see is gray skies. And he always has a lot of references to how high he can get, higher than a hang glider. And look around and all I see is the gray skies. Everything is gloomy. Then further down, there's help inside that medicine cabinet. That's the fantasy. You're always one pill away from feeling good about yourself. Came in for answers, but she left with a habit. There's no one on the other end of that telephone. Yeah, you're afraid to look because, you're looking for answers, but all you leave with is a dependency on this pill, on this pill, on this pill, but you're not looking for what's really going on. There's no one at the end of that telephone. Yeah, because there's no one to give you the answers but yourself, but you're afraid to go there. See, metaphorically, you're hanging up. And the answer is, as always, drugs are not the answer. We think that it will be. Going a little further down on the chorus, it goes, it's only real if it's real to you. It's only real if it's real to you. And, this is what starts to happen when you're dealing with fantasies and hallucinations. I'm going to go with this a little bit further, but I've seen this 1,000, 10,000 times in my career, where people get caught up in what is real and what is not real. And when you're not dealing with reality and you're dealing with fantasy, things that make no sense begin to make sense. And I've seen that a lot with people. When they start losing hold on reality and what grounds you, that's when you get into serious trouble. Going further, it goes on verse 2. And if love is just a fantasy, then what is the problem if you fall in love with fantasy? There's a lot of problems with that, huge problems with that, because here's what happens. I don't know what a real relationship is. So I have to live with the fantasy of what one is and not the reality of one. What I do this morning, I've been married now, I think my wife said like 73 years. I cleaned the kitchen. Yeah, cleaned the kitchen. I mopped up the counters. I took out the garbage. I cleaned up. I did a load of laundry. And I put dishes in the dishwasher and I turned it on and I washed some dishes also. That's reality. That's reality. And there was some garbage outside and I had to clean up in my backyard and throw it away in our garbage can. That's the reality. When the fantasy is, oh, we're going to get high. We're not going to pay our bills. We're not going to follow convention. That's when you get yourself into trouble. I'm shooting this video right now, no shock, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday, a little after 11. What time did my agent / producer said to come over his house? 11 o'clock. So I got here at 5 to 11. I showered, I shaved. I'm ready to do it. I'm doing it right now. But that's reality. That's getting things accomplished. When you start saying things like, so what's wrong with that? What's wrong if you fall in love with a fantasy? It doesn't last because it's not real. It's not grounded. That's the point. And he's always having these relationships with these unobtainable females. It's almost because he's trying to find somebody that he can run with, will be with, and he's having a harder and harder time to do that. A little further down, in the waiting room for a psychiatric evaluation, she doesn't have the patience to be treated like a patient. It'll be okay if she just swallow this pill. Yeah, put you on pills. There we go. No therapy, no look in the mirror. Don't have someone really hold you accountable. Take pills, take pills, take pills. But you never get to the root of the issue. This is why drugs and alcohol are so appealing to people, because the warmth of the alcohol, the warmth of the drugs mimics what you should have gotten in childhood from your family. The warmth, the love, the closeness. Everyone will say the same thing to me. Oh, Bruce, I was enveloped in warmth. This is how it ends, though. You don't want to put in the effort. Take the pill. Don't look what the real issues are. What are the pills actually doing for you? You may need it for a while, not medication. It has some very, very strong effects on people that truly need it. But there's a big difference between psychosis and depression. And depression, you hopefully want to get to the reasons why you feel depressed. Psychosis is a completely different animal. You truly need help because there's organic damage there. There's brain dysfunction. You need help. She's falling for her hallucinations. Big difference between that. What is the hallucinations exactly? And what's love without imagination? Because you end up in the hospital. It only applies to you, and you end up in the hospital when you start dealing with these hallucinations. That's concerning to me. And it's only real if it's real to you. Do you know what really is reality? Because sometimes we think it's real, but in the end, it's fantasy. I see this all the time with addictions, and when I read evaluations and assessments, people say things like, she was walking down the street naked. He was running in the street trying to get hit. He was knocking things down in the store. He was screaming incoherently at passerbys. You think at that time that that's stable, that that's normal. That's those hallucinations coming in, but that's not real. That's not healthy. And we do that so often in our own lives. We don't really want to grasp what really is going on here, what has to be done. You begin to think that crazy is normal and normal is crazy. And that's not healthy. That's why we take the drugs. That's why we take the alcohol. That's why we make the terrible decisions that we make, because we begin to lose that grip with what is reality. They don't need no explanation on the bridge. There is beauty in creation, my Lord. They really don't. They don't need an explanation. This is what you have to get away from. That's what's scary, that people begin to think that it's okay to act the way that you do, that norms don't apply to you, that expectations don't apply to you, that consistency doesn't apply to you, that rules don't apply to you. That's when you start falling into the abyss and you turn more and more to something that's self-destructive for you. We do this in all aspects of our life. Always aim for the truth. Aim for the truth and go for them, and be prepared to face the fact that you need to make changes to grow. Dysfunction is easy. It's changing that's tough. And when he's talking about this, Mac, I really understand him better each time I break down one of his songs. This is what he was dealing with. He was trying to figure out who he was. He knew he was in that loop of drugs and alcohol and self-destructive behavior, trying to find a healthy relationship. It's always something that's unobtainable, being around somebody that's drug-free, that's alcohol-free, that truly wants to be around him. You realize he was in a way in the abyss, as way so many of us are in trying to understand who we are as people. Who do we have as friendships? Who do we have as people to keep us solidified, rock hard, and not making those kinds of mistakes? This is why we want you to join our monthly service. $75 a month. Insurance rates are getting crazy. The prices are getting crazy. The co-pays are getting crazy. The denials are getting crazy. Here you have a chance to talk to me. That's it. My producer is really the only person from the HMO, so to speak. That's it. You get us. You throw a question on the board, you get it answered. You don't have to wait 2 months. We'll go from therapist to find someone that can relate to you. I am relatable. I'm in the thick of it. Use me as your bridge. That's all we're looking for. Please contact us. I appreciate people saying, can you be my therapist? We get a lot of that now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We prefer you go the group rate, $75 a month. I'm making the pitch because we're trying to make this service bigger, better, and global. That's the point. We're still going to knock out the breakdowns. We're still going to break down the concepts, but we want you to start getting something out of the entire process. And we can also have some financial support as well. Understandable. That's it from here. Bruce Mufson, LCSW, Sunridge, Nevada.